UFC 313 has concluded, and that means I can't just talk about the main event. We're going to break down the co-main events that happened between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev, and it was a fantastic fight. I loved it. I predicted Rafael to win by 29-28. Decision that did not happen. However, it was about to happen, in my opinion. As you guys know, I've obviously spoken to Fiziev. You know, Stan and I were upstairs watching it, very invested in this fight as he trains out here in Thailand. He lives out here. He takes some of the classes at Tiger Muay Thai for kickboxing, etc. I spoke to him backstage at one of the local events for like 20 minutes. It was just insane. And then 12 days later, he's fighting Justin Gaethje for the number 3 spot in the world. It was just such a surreal moment, being like, fuck, these guys are just real people. We interact with these people, and now they're doing this. It's just inspiring. And I predicted him to go out there and win by decision 2-1. Now, he won the first round handily, you know, threw a few takedowns in there. He was actually in north-south. He got a reverse, like, inverted triangle, and I was just, like, elbowing Gaethje's body, but Stan and I were like, why isn't he tightening it up? Like, what's he doing? Like, it's because Gaethje was slipping out. We couldn't see because of the angle. Gaethje was slipping out, so he was trying to hold the position, and I was like, he should have done more damage as Gaethje was slipping out of that position, because he was literally sat on top of him. You could have just pounded his ribs like 10 times in that amount of time it took him to get out. He was looking for position over submission, over the damage. I understand that. That's part of the game, no problem. 1-0 Fiziev. Gaethje comes out there and is losing the first round until he finds that shot. He dropped Fiziev with an uppercut in close. It wasn't a flash knockdown. Fiziev did not see it coming, and obviously you guys know the shots you do not see fucking really ring your bell. And he went down. Gaethje rushed the finish a little bit. Gaethje has never been like a sniper. He's never been that type of guy that knocks you down, he'll put his hands on your legs and he'll find the shot the way McGregor used to do, the way an O'Malley would, you know, the way John Jones would. Gaethje's always like, oh, I'll lean my head back and I'll throw this shot out here. And it was a very clean, tight uppercut. Gaethje didn't see it. Fiziev didn't see it. He went down, won Gaethje the round. You know, that was with a minute left to go in the round. And I was like, fuck. And Fiziev visibly was so tired in round 3. You know, had his hands by his side, he was taking big breaths, his kicks were slow, he was missing kicks, and I was like, you can't give this round to him. And Gaethje was just finding the better shots, you know, landing good shots. Yeah, Gaethje gets it done. And the thing is, people are calling me so fucking biased because I went in on Magomed Ankalaev. I hate Justin Gaethje. I don't want him at the top of the sport. Fair play, he won. He won that fight. I can sit back and say, he did enough to win. He fought for the victory. Fiziev slowed down. My prediction was wrong. This sport is a brutal sport. It's a disappointing sport. You think your favourite fighter is always going to win? You know, and Gaethje didn't look 36, 37. You know, Gaethje looked like himself. He took a few big shots off of Fiziev. Fiziev with a full camp, I believe, would have gotten the win. He was just one step ahead, as I said he would be, you know. He was one step ahead in the striking department, and Gaethje just weathered the storm. Knocked him down, got on top, started doing damage, and then going into the third round, Fiziev was just out of gas. He was just struggling for oxygen. That's what happens. What's next for Gaethje? Gaethje versus Topuria in August would be awesome. I'd love that. Might be a bit soon for Gaethje. You know, I know Gaethje only wants to fight 2 times a year, so I'd imagine Gaethje will come back in about November. I'd imagine it'd be November. You know, March and November seems to be his usual schedule. You know, like when he came back against Michael Chandler at MSG, that was November, and then previous to that, I believe he fought the Oliveira. Was it May or October? Something like that. So, realistically, Gaethje versus who next? I don't know. Gaethje versus the winner of Dan Hooker and Max Holloway sounds like the perfect fight to me. Let's say Gaethje's coming back in November. Give Gaethje the winner of Holloway versus Dan Hooker, which I want to take place in June. The winner fights for a belt. That's fantastic. It gets Hooker and Holloway on track to a title. And in the meantime, we can have Topuria versus Dustin Poirier. They fight for a belt. Or we can have, you know, Dustin Poirier versus, what's his fucking name? Oliveira 2. And then in the meantime, we do the big fight, which I think needs to happen now, judging by the state of the champions in the UFC, Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. Now, I don't think Topuria is going to be around much longer. I think if he comes up, wins the lightweight belt, and then defends it, he'll just dip. He'll just get out the sport. Fucking undefeated, 18, 20-0, whatever he'll be. And that would be just a bit annoying, because now it's like, great, now we've got to find another exciting champion. But yeah. Or you could do Gaethje fights the winner of Paddy Pimblett versus Michael Chandler, which I think that's the fight. I think that's the fight that the UFC will do. If Paddy Pimblett beats Michael Chandler, they'll do Gaethje versus Chandler. What? They'll do Gaethje versus Pimblett in November at Madison Square Garden. That is my prediction. What did you guys think of the fight? Did you enjoy it? In terms of what's next for Fiziev, he's going to stay ranked 11. Gamrot versus Fiziev. Get Fiziev back in there maybe July, August time. I hope he got paid well for the short notice. He made weight. He's very lucky it was a 3-rounder though. If that was 5 and not changed, he would have probably been knocked out really, really badly. And that's just me being honest. Not because he didn't have the skill to hang, just because people don't understand your ability to take a punch depends a lot on what type of conditioning you have and on what shape you're in. If you're in phenomenal shape and you're not huffing and puffing, you don't get as easily concussed. When you're struggling for oxygen and your brain's not getting the necessary oxygen and you're getting hit, that's when your brain health deteriorates. That's why hard sparring, when gyms do fucking 10 rounds of hard sparring, by rounds 8, 9, and 10, when you're getting your bell rung, that's really bad for your health. That's why you'll get your words slurring, and that's why Justin Gaethje took 6 months off, no contact, no being hit in the head, and I respect it, and he's come back and he's looked all right. He did exactly what Gaethje does, which is weather the storm, just be there, just be really difficult to put away. And yeah. What do you guys think? What did you guys think of the fight? What do you think about what I want to happen next? Holloway versus Dan Hooker in June. The winner, if it's Paddy Pimblett against Michael Chandler, fights Gaethje in November. That's what I want to happen, folks. And in the meantime, give us Topuria versus Poirier and have Islam Makhachev defend the belt, maybe against Armin or fucking Oliveira or just someone. Or they could do Topuria versus McGregor. Topuria versus McGregor would be fucking mind-blowing. It would be such a huge... That's 1.5 million pay-per-view buys. And the UFC fucking need it this year, I tell you. Thanks for watching, folks.